And welcome to an episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the evening, he's a talented recording artist, embarking on his new journey as an independent. He's an actor, he's a writer, he's doing everything. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Shug Jackson. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm great, man. What's happening, folks? I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Honor and privilege to speak to you, man. I was looking through your content. You got a brand new single called Check Me Out, which is on fire.
Yeah,
I
I
love the
appreciate
beat. It's hard.
it.
So I don't know, man. You're doing a lot. Where do you want to start?
Just right there, man. New single, Check Me Out. Actually, a single came out a few months back. It's really starting to pick up a little steam. So check it out. It's on all the platforms, man. And what I try to do with that single, man, is kind of bring back the old school sound with the new school and tell a story type of thing over a hard drum track. So
no, I noticed that, man. I think it's super dope. I think that's super important because it shows that essence of rap and hip hop, and where what we need, everything's very commercialized. Sometimes we need that rawness, and where it's authentic, progressive, you know?
Right. Yeah, so that's why I kind of tried to take it to, you know what I mean? So as long as we here, man, it's gonna always be old school music. It goes around in the circle, man. It ain't going nowhere.
Boom, there you go. Yeah. So what inspired you to start doing music? You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time, man. Way back in junior high, man. Really what inspired me was New Edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. When they was young, man, that kind of inspired me, man, too. And then of course Run DMC.
Yeah.
You know, came along and the rest was history, man. Back then I started doing it with two other guys and they just wasn't as serious as I was about it.
Yeah. That happens.
And kept going, man, and here we are. So
boom. Yeah. There we are. You got I was listening to My Life, which is a deep song, man, and something where like you really open up and talk about a situation you went through. It's real deep. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. That song is talking about back in '95, man, I got stabbed less than a half inch from my heart and died on the operating table. It happened September 8th of 1995. Then 2 months later, same year, I got in a car accident on the highway, roll over, fractured my neck in 3 places.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Then December 1st, that same year, my first child was born. So that whole little period, man, kind of taught me something, was a definitely a wake-up moment for me, you know what I mean? Because back then, man, I really kind of thought the world revolved around me, you know what I mean? So
I feel that, brother. I feel that.
So I got a real quick wake-up call that it didn't. And I've always been a storyteller in music, but that song, I think it just came from a place, and I think I needed to tell that story because there's lots of people that go through things in life, and sometimes it's hard to bounce back, and the mental and emotional scars are worse than the physical scars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that song was I wanted to get really emotional and deep with that song, kind of help people through the mental and emotional part of getting over something, man, and moving on with life. So
no, you know. I get it, man. It's challenging. It's challenging, especially when you went through something like that so traumatic. So you know, thank God you're here and you were able to overcome that. Not a lot of people can't, you know.
All right, thank you.
So you got your own record label. You're independent now. How's that going?
Going great, man. Nightstalker Entertainment. It's going great, man. It's one of the best things I've done. Matter of fact, I was asked. Matter of fact, earlier today, actually, what do I like more about being independent versus being on a major? You know, being on a major is great. You know what I mean? It's cool. You know, you get all the stuff that comes with it, the fast notoriety and all that stuff. But the thing about being independent, man, is you can be yourself. You can be creative. You control your own destiny,
Yeah.
so to speak. You know what I mean? And it teaches you how that this business is 75% business and 25% talent. You know what I mean? You
I
got
hear
to be
that.
business about it. You got to be business about it. You can be talented all day, but if you ain't business about it, it's not gonna last. It's not gonna go anywhere. So that's the great thing about being independent, man. You kind of control your own destiny. So
Yeah, and then most of the thing, everything is yours. Everything is
yeah,
yours.
exactly.
I've had numerous artists around on the show, and they're so they're eager to get signed by these labels, but
Yeah,
not understanding the repercussions, because when you're signed, that's basically they're giving you a loan, which you got to pay back with interest.
exactly. Exactly. And it takes a long time
Yeah,
to get any money from, unless you're out
yeah,
doing shows.
yeah.
So, and nowadays they get part of that,
Man, I
So,
hear that.
independent, man. Independent.
Yeah, yeah. So how's it been different? Because you like you said, you got this old school, right? Which is it's
Mhm.
very influential but impacting, right? Your words,
Mhm.
it's like vivid poetry, which is dope.
Mhm.
How is it different from today's modern music? And we're like, in your perspective, in your opinion, because everything it's commercialized. Everything
Yeah, yeah,
it's if it's just, I want to say almost the same tempo, the same
right,
thing. How's
right.
it how does that affect you in a way?
Well, I'm gonna start with the difference between
Mm,
yesterday's music and today's music and artists, right? Back then, every artist wanted to be them. They wanted to create their own niche, right?
mm,
And nobody wanted to sound like the next person because, you
respect.
know, yeah, respect. And you can find yourself in fights like that, biting
Hmm.
somebody else's style. So it made you be creative back then. Nowadays, it's, you take the hot artist, whoever hot right now, and then you got a gang of people coming behind trying to sound like that one artist.
Yeah,
So it to me, it waters down the music, and you put on one artist song and you pretty much heard the other artist without listening to the album because they
yeah,
all sound the same.
yeah.
And it's a lot of talent out there. You know what I mean? I just wish these artists would learn to dig down deep inside of themselves and really realize that they can be creative from a different source within them
Hmm.
besides what the industry is demanding right now, what radio is demanding right now. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Because that's why you see a lot of one hit wonders right now. You don't
yeah.
see anybody that's going to be around
10
15
years,
years,
10, yep.
yeah, with a catalog. You know what I mean? So because the music, just like the world go around in a circle, so does music. And as the audience gets older, they don't want to hear that type of stuff no more. If they can't, get in that car and listen to it and relate to it, cry to it, laugh to it, kind of
Hmm.
get some kind of feeling and emotion to it.
Like a mature hip hop, a mature rap.
Right.
Like I think the last album or the only album, I can't remember right now. Maybe you have some on your list, but like I I want to say the last album I heard that's like mature hip hop is talking about like it was JC 444. That's
Okay.
that talks
Yeah.
it's talking about investments, it's talking about
Yeah.
uh things of the culture, things he went through, things he had to
Yeah.
accept, relationship, like a mature, wise man that gone through life.
Right.
Sorry about that. But that's about it. I think at my point, I would like to hear some maturity in that aspect.
Right, right. And that's the thing is I think a lot of artists nowadays are afraid to be
Mm,
mature. It's because everybody got to go with what's hot right now. If
mm-hmm,
you don't go with what's hot right now, which is not true,
mm-hmm.
you know, somebody's gonna listen to it. You know what I mean? So, and that's how you build a fan base, in my
Yeah,
opinion. So, so hopefully, man, music can get back to the storytelling, the making people feel some type of way.
mm-hmm.
Um, besides, you know, all that stuff is great in the club, but
Yeah,
what can you put on in your house while you're cleaning up? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
While
It
you're
makes you
going through,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
while you're
yeah.
going through something. So ain't much of that nowadays. So
That just goes to prove that like today's modern music, it's more of a it's not an individual. It's like it's somebody who's jumping on the bandwagon.
right.
Right? Like when I listen to My Life, your song, right?
Uh,
And it's telling a story about a man who went through this and is overcoming the stop obstacle. Like you can
mhm.
really relate, whether it's a stabbing, a shooting, whatever, you can relate. But then
Mhm.
when you look at today's modern music, they're not talking about themselves. They're talking about who they're with and what they're doing.
Right,
So
right.
like we went from this independent way of thinking now
Mhm.
to this cohesive way of living in groups. Nah, we care about what the group thinks. We don't care about what we think as individuals.
Right, 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 right. Exactly. And that's the difference between today's artists and yesterday's artists. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
was, and that's why a lot of yesterday's artists are still around because the music is still relevant because the streets are still here. The streets gonna be here after we gone,
Yeah,
after everybody's gone. So the streets are still going, the neighborhoods are still gonna be there.
yeah, yeah.
People still gonna go through struggle. You know what I mean? All that stuff is still gonna be here. So, and not saying every song has to be like that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But if every song on your album is talking about, popping mollies and
Yeah.
ass shaking and you know what I mean, and how much money you got, and
And you're
you
really
know what I mean.
broke.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to hear that because you're not sending them a check.
Hmm.
So people get tired of listening to that. So, and like I said, man, there's a kudos to anybody doing it. I respect anybody doing what they love to do. You
Facts,
know what I
facts.
mean? I just kind of wish people would show their own individuality and their own talent,
Facts.
besides jumping on, like you said, jumping on the bandwagon and and trying to ride that thing till the wheels fall off because they're gonna fall off.
Eventually, yep.
Yeah.
What's your writing process like? Like when you like how do you get in that zone and where you sit down and all right, I have this idea. How's that like?
I kind of go with a I kind of go with a feeling, man. Most of the time I have a beat and I'll sit down, I listen to the beat over and over and over, and I close my eyes
Mm,
because the beat is gonna dictate where the lyrics go. Um, and then there's sometimes I don't even have a beat and I just start writing. So it just depends on the mood. And I'm one of those people, man. If I record a song and I can't close my eyes and visualize it,
mm.
I get rid of the song altogether.
Got it, got it.
You know what I mean? I got to be able to see it. You know what I mean? Because if I can't see it, the audience ain't gonna be able to see it. Um, so that's pretty much my writing process, man. And whether it be a fun song, whether it be a song that's gonna make you cry, laugh, whatever, I got to be able to picture it. You know what I mean? And then the track and the lyrics got to go together like a hand in a glove. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They got to
So
match.
they got to match. Yeah.
I
So that's
feel that.
pretty much how it is with me.
Are you looking to sign anybody to your record label? Do you have anybody already signed?
I don't have anyone signed yet, but I do plan on signing artists in the near future, man. I'm doing all kinds of music, not just hip hop, man.
Got it.
I'm a fan of music. You know what I
So
mean? No matter what it is, if it's dope, you know, Shug is coming forward. So yeah, definitely in the near future, man.
got it, got it. That's dope. Any particular music that you listen to and inspire you to write something? Anything? Who do you
Ah,
who do you look for a source of inspiration?
believe it or not, man, I put on artists like, Freddie Jackson,
Mm,
the Isley Brothers, Luther Vandross, man, Gerald Levert, who's my favorite artist of all time. Um, I don't really listen to a lot of rap, unless it's old school. Um, so, and the reason why I think I like, because I grew up on R&B, man. My family, my parents, that's
yeah.
that's all they listen to. So Um, and I like to listen to that music because the music really had feeling in it. You know what I'm saying? And they told a story. You know, even I'll even put on a country music, you know, song because country music tells a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I put on stuff like that, man. And I just vibe to it, and then it's off and running from there, man.
I feel that, man. I feel like we need R&B back.
Right.
I don't think it ever died. I think it just evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And because like, it's all about love and what we want to do is commercialize. Like even
Yeah.
the radio station that would play it, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything became so very monopoly wise. And where like
Yeah.
you can't really put music out there like that.
Right.
And I think we
Right.
need, because like you're in the club, like back in the day, you were in the club and they'll put some R&B and you get, that bump and grind. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing like that in the club nowadays.
Right. Right. Well, you make a good point, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and especially when I get interviewed, is that's why the world is afraid to show love. If you
Mm,
notice now, right? Everybody's afraid to say I love you in public. You know what I'm saying, or say out there in love in public. Back in the day, it was no problem. Nowadays, everybody got to be tough. This image thing, right?
yeah.
Um, but if you listen to Shug Jackson music, you're gonna hear love. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You're gonna hear passion. I'm one of these people. I'm not afraid to kind of walk that line and talk about finding my angel, or telling my brother I love him. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because everybody want to wait until those roses are going on top of the casket before they tell somebody they love them. You know what I
Facts.
mean?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not tell them? Why not tell them you love them while the roses are still in the store? You know what I'm saying? We don't even need the roses. So, or just give them their roses while they can still smell them. Don't wait till they, getting ready to be put 6 feet deep to start crying, talking about you love somebody. But that's the society and the culture we in right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so I'm just doing my part, man, to bring back substance to the game, bring back some kind of realness. Because I hear one thing that gets me, I hear everybody talk about, man, keep it 100, keep it 100, right? Well, if you
Yeah.
keeping it 100, you ain't mad. You ain't mad every day, all day.
Hmm.
You sad sometimes, you right? You gonna cry sometime. Why not talk about that type of stuff?
Yeah.
That's keeping it 100 in my
Yeah.
in my opinion. So I'm just trying to bring all that type of music back, man, and give people something that they can grasp onto and kind of
Relate to.
identify with. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, and the ironic thing is that you try to say that, you say that, and they're quick to tell you, but that's old school.
yeah,
Oh, that's not doing it. It's like dealing with your emotions. It's not new or old school. It's just who you as a person. You gotta enable to grow as a person. You
yeah,
gotta you gotta navigate through that.
right, right,
It's not
right.
always you're not always in that what is that phrase? You're not always in that 100 mode and where like you're about to fight somebody or shit's about to go down. Like it's not always like that.
No, no, nobody is. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, to me, there's no such thing as keeping it 100,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta like that is a good point. I got a new EP coming out, and I'm calling it Three Faced, right? That's the name of the
That's a
EP.
dope name.
Called Three Faced, and the reason why it's called Three Faced is because of that. We got three different emotions. We get
Mm-hmm.
mad, we get sad, and we're happy. That's three different faces,
Yeah.
right? When you're mad, you're not smiling when you're mad. When you're happy, you're not frowning. You know what I mean? When you're crying, it's all over the place. So we got three different faces. So and the songs on there talking about real life stuff and going through things that's gonna make you cry, things that's gonna make you happy, things that's gonna make you really think and probably make you mad. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to provoke all of those feelings through music and just touch people where I think people need to be touched. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I call it three-faced.
I think that's a dope name because it speaks volumes of truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how many songs do you know how the EP is gonna bring?
6.
Nice.
About 6 on there. Yeah.
Do you
So
have a specific date and where you're dropping it?
I'm looking probably early June, hopefully. Early
Nice.
June. Late April, early June. So, and it's gonna be even the tracks are dope, man. It's gonna be tracks like you never heard type
Mm,
tracks, you know what I mean? So melodies and and you know what I mean, melodies, because really melodies are, and with my heavy voice, it kind of brings, and it's where the tracks kind of, when I first heard the tracks, that's where it kind of took me to, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, to bring out that raw emotion. So yeah,
that's dope.
I appreciate it.
Any features that we can wait on?
No big features, just my nephew who's an upcoming artist. So
That's dope.
I'm gonna feature him on there. Cousin of mine who's an R&B singer.
Nice,
I'm gonna
nice.
feature him on there. So I didn't really want no big name, so to speak, on this. Cause I just wanted to keep it raw, man, and like I said again, touch people where I think they need to be touched, man. So
That's
yeah.
dope. I was reading that in an article you were talking about your Def Jam helped create your path.
Hmm.
How was that experience for you? Can you elaborate? Can you speak on it a little bit?
Yeah, the thing with Def Jam, what I learned with them, and especially growing up, always wanting to be on Def Jam. You know,
Yeah.
back in the day, man, everybody wanted to be on Def Jam. You know, and LL was one of my favorite rappers. You know, I used to be in the bathroom with my headphones on and my brush as the microphone, and I'm rapping, you know, at the top of my lungs. And so when I signed to Def Jam, the person they had meet me at the door was LL.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so and you know, seeing Russell in person and meeting these dudes um and I never forget we was in that the first day we was in a meeting in there, me, Russell, and LL and Redman and Leo Cohen, all of us in there. And LL looked at me, said, hey, young fella. So I looked at him like, young fella. You know what I mean? I'm saying to myself, you only, you know, a few years older than me. It's me, young fella. But what he was meaning, like in the business,
Mm,
he was like, I want you to always remember something, man. He said, remember that this business is 75% business and 25% talent. So that stuck with me from then till now. That's why I mentioned that earlier. Um, and he wasn't joking, you know, it's business. And one thing I learned about even signing with a major is they kind of want to pick the single, right? If you have something in mind, you think it's a single, no, they want to pick it. You know what I mean? They want to do all the things. And then after they use you up, they spit you out. You know what I mean? Or they have the ability to not release your record at all. You know what I mean? So I really learned that it had to be business. And then I was always the type, like, I meet somebody, you know, I'm one of these dudes, I'm cool with everybody,
mm.
you know, until you show me different. So I went into it like, hey, you know, friends, you know what I mean? Like we label mates, we friends. The business, you know what I mean? It's the business. Yeah, friends way over there. As far as
Yeah.
the Russells and the Leo Cohens and all that. They're not thinking about, you know, friend and all that. They thinking business. So I had to learn all of that stuff, that type of stuff. My eyes more on that. And then being the type of artist that, you know, because a lot of artists they rap, especially rappers, they make music for their homeboys in the neighborhood. If their
Mhm.
homeboys like it, it's dope. You know what I mean? It's a big world out there. You got to make music for the world, not just your neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of those things, man, along the way, kind of really helped make and shape and mold me. And then all the artists I've been around, you know, and then taking bits and pieces of you know, their greatness and kind of molding it into mine, into me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's been a journey, man. It's been one heck of a
No,
journey.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I hold you and your music hostage. They want,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, because even if you comply to what they want, they're still
Hmm.
gonna have it their way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like it's one of those things, like, you damn me you do, you damn me you don't, if you don't.
Right. Right.
Like, it's I don't know. I'm glad you were able to navigate that, man. And here you are, EP coming soon, independent records.
Yeah.
So like,
Appreciate it.
it'll take some time, but once you start selling, it's gonna blow.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it. I'm gonna give you a story, quick story, man. It kind of might ruffle some feathers, but since you brought up Def Jam,
Fuck it, let's do it.
back then, I had I don't even know. Well, I'm gonna say her name, Tracy Wakels, right? She was my A&R girl, right? And
Hmm.
we were up in LA recording, and we were in the studio, and I don't know if you remember MC Search from Third Base,
Yeah.
right? Search was in the studio with us, and so our producer comes in, we getting ready to record this track, and he puts on maybe 10 seconds maybe not even 10 seconds of this track. It was with a Roger and Zap sample. Tracy stopped and she said, "Shug, everybody used that track." I said, "Well, Tracy, you haven't even heard the song. You know what I mean? You haven't even heard the song." So, and Serge was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know." I said, "Look, man, you do your album, I do mine." You know what I'm saying? So we got into, image. And I've always been one that my image, when people ask me what's my image, I say human.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't have no image. I'm human. Because you get caught up in the human, get caught up in this image thing. Now you become a character.
Mm.
I refuse to become a character. I've always been that way. So anyway, we talking about. I told them they brought up Onyx. I said, well, yeah, Onyx is dope. You know what I mean? They of course sold probably 2 million records at that time. I said, but 2 years from now, let's see what Onyx does. Let's see who wants to hear that hollering and screaming. They all got all, loud, we arguing back and forth. 2 years went by. Onyx released another record. Didn't do very well. The reason why, because nobody wanted to hear that hollering and screaming anymore. The crowd gets older, they move on, right? Your ears get
Hmm.
tired.
Hmm.
Especially if you're just yelling and screaming and you're not talking about anything of substance. You know what I mean? Especially back then, because the West Coast was really pop, NWA, Easy E, Q. You had, and there was storytelling. You know what I mean? Ghetto Boys down south. So, and then I get a phone call from Tracy Wakels. You know what I mean? She was like, "Shug, you was right." I was like, "Right about what?" I had forgot all about it. She said about the Onyx thing that we got in an argument with about a couple years ago. I said, "Yeah, I know I'm right. I know I was right then." You know what I mean? And then the girl, the female boss, I mean, her name was Boss back then. I don't really wanna feel. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember that song. I told Boss, I said, do not let them make you into a character. You know what I mean? She was a real cute female. They put lokes on her and put a bandana around her head and made her into
Gave her a
the
gimmick.
yeah, the female Easy E. You know what I
Mm.
mean? First album was dope. After that, nobody wanted to see a gangster chick like that. So as that image went away, so did her career. You know what I mean? So that was one thing I've always learned looking at LL, a dude that's been able to change with the times, man. The dude was never you L's image was just cool.
Hmm.
Cool is something that's just going is gonna be here forever. You know what I
It's
mean?
just gonna happen regardless.
Regardless. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God, man, that I was able to kind of
Mm.
identify with that way back then and grasp on it. And not only that, my parents raised me like that,
Yeah.
So that's it. And if I could tell any artist to this day, man, don't get caught up in being a character, man, and worried about an image. And you know, all that stuff. 'Cause as soon as you walk outside your door, you got to become that character. And that can drive you crazy. And as soon as that nobody wants to see that character no more, your career is over.
They get tired. They get tired. Like, and that's the thing. As humans, whether you're in fame or non-fame, as just people in general, we're supposed to evolve.
Right.
You know, like one of my uh favorite business people's person, 50 Cent. He started off with that rugged, but then he started evolving.
All right.
Like he's about to open, or he opened his own studio, movie studio.
Yeah.
Like you saw him throughout the years. He didn't stay stuck on just this persona. He had to
Right.
evolve. And even LL at
Yeah.
one point he was hot, and then something I read something, heard something where like the label didn't want to push his music out, wasn't advertising. So he fell a veteran, somebody
Yeah.
who can arguably say we started this in a
Yeah.
sense. They were pushing him out.
Pushing
And
them
he
out. Yeah.
became to acting and movies and started, you know, creating or forging a new path or entertainment.
Right. Right.
So like
Right.
you're hitting the the head of the nail, and when you're saying you gotta evolve, you gotta change. You can't be stuck in one gimmick, because this is not a wrestling show and where you know for one thing.
Right.
You gotta
Right.
change, audiences are gonna change, people are gonna grow,
Yeah.
and you never
Yeah.
know. But how
Yeah.
would you know if you don't take that leap of faith and change and evolve as you
Yeah.
should?
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of it is fear. A lot
Mm,
of it, especially in today's artists, a lot of it is fear because you have, like I said, everybody wants to be this tough dude. You know what I
mm,
mean? The gun toting and you know, all this other stuff. So if they say, you know, I'm putting down the gun, you know, and I'm picking up, say, you know, a pencil to help teach somebody something, they're gonna be considered soft.
mm.
So the fear of that in your to your so-called fans and all that stuff, to me, that's what keeps a lot of artists from doing that. And don't get me wrong, you ain't there's only one KRS One, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so and when I say pick up a pencil to kind of teach somebody, you can tell your own story. You know what I mean? Your own story, because we all have a story. And everybody's story, if you sit down and talk to somebody, you would say, man, we got more in common than I thought. But you never know that until you sit down and you listen to that person's story and that person listen to yours, right? So, and again, that's how I try to approach music. Not saying everybody got to do it the same way or whatever. You can, you know, you can have fun and all of that. But if everybody's talking about uh you know, popping pills and how much money you got and all this other stuff.
Something's
You know what I
wrong.
mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's so now the fear is seeming like you're broke.
Hmm.
That's a fear. You know what I mean? You can't talk about being you can't talk about being in the hood no more because people are going to perceive you as being broke. Oh, he's stuck in the hood. He must be broke. You know what I mean? So now I gotta put out this thing where I'm living in this big old house and I got, you know, 50 cars and all this other stuff. So
For no
I think
reason.
right, right, exactly. So it's the fear of losing that image,
Hmm.
so to speak. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's a one way death ticket to your career after a while.
Yeah, and another thing is like why is a why are we why are we being guided by youth who hasn't had that maturity or sense of experience? Like, and you'll ask, like, people that ask me, but what about the old school? Well, if the old school starts preaching and starts telling their experience, and not even telling, because it comes to a point where now you have the media throwing propaganda just trying to sell papers. Don't let them express their opinions. Don't
Right.
let them express their experience. And now they're just looked at, you broke.
Yeah.
That's why you're talking. You broke.
Yeah.
And like, it's not broke, is that he has the experience and knowledge that this is why you're not getting that effed up deal.
Right.
This is
Right.
this is why certain things in the industry are not happening, because unfortunately, they were the guinea pigs. You're the ones who had to go through it, and the fact that that's not being talked about or realized or
Yeah.
appreciated, it just shows the depths of deception this music industry can be.
Right. Right. And that's, to me, a lot of that's created by the media. A lot of it is created by the label owners
Mm-hmm.
and some artists. You know what I mean? So, and it's all a copycat league. You know what I mean? Just like
Mm-hmm.
anything else, it's all a copycat league. You know what I mean? If I take it, you got three little boxes sitting there, and the small box, you know, got the most money in it. People gonna automatically jump to the biggest box because they think that one got the
Mm-hmm.
most money in it, right? And just bypass the little box. But the little one might have the most money in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the perception of everything got to be big. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I get this little small box, if I just grab that one, people gonna think I'm broke because I'm just going for anything. But hey, that one might have $1 million in it. The other one might have 10,000 in it. So, and that's like I said, man, this generation, I don't know the generation, but it's just, to me, it's been built up and built up and built up over the years, right? And
Mm-hmm.
especially starting in radio as far as music goes. You got people sitting in radio that don't know nothing about rap music, and they're calling the shots on rap music, on hip hop music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not.
And
I wouldn't say just. Um, Sorry if you hear the backgrounds of my son trying to come in.
no, no.
I wouldn't say it's a generation. I think it's when you're in a position of power
Uh-huh.
and you see potential in something, right? And you see like a young Shug Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
breaking the stereotypic type, influential, the culture. That's his dollar sign.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody who is growing up in poverty in the streets and realness and trying to
Mm-hmm.
make something out of themselves, to make something out of nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna throw everything they got
Yeah.
and to almost blindside you,
Right.
to get
Right.
you to make a decision out of desperation without you, and you just know it's that's a lot of money. I could do this.
Right.
So it's difficult for anybody.
It is. Yeah, it is. You know. But to me, that's the beauty of life.
Mm,
Life is difficult. You know what I mean?
that's a
Fighting
journey.
for, yeah, it's a journey. You know what I mean? It's the marathon. Everybody wants to sprint. You know what I mean? But after they sprint, now you're tired. What you gonna do for the other 300 yards?
Mm,
You already ran the 100 yards. Now you want to quit? You got 300 more to go.
there you go.
You know what I mean? So, to get all the way around the track, you know what I mean? So it's just, that's where I approach the game. And when any artist asks me about, anything or my advice to them, that's what I tell them, man, is don't be satisfied with sounding like another artist. Don't be satisfied with um, just taking this little bit that somebody is giving you when you know you can do so much more.
Mm,
You can create so much more. You know, do you? You know
yeah.
what I mean? Do you? Drake is great. There's only one. There's only one of him.
Yeah.
There's only one Little Wayne. You know what I mean? There's only one Little Baby. You know what I mean? So if you got 1,000 artists trying to sound like three guys, then everything's gonna sound the same.
Yeah. And that's what it sounds like. Like
That's exactly what it sounds like.
first it was mumble rapping, and we're
Yeah.
now I don't know, they did like a hit list and we're like they disappeared or died, right? But yet
Mm-hmm.
it's I compare it to the algorithm.
Right.
And we're like you start, it starts detecting what you want and it just starts throwing you that.
Yeah.
And this is why I tell the algorithm doesn't work, because sometimes like humans have that spark, that unpredictable spark that can light something up without you
Mm-hmm.
knowing, that will
Mm-hmm.
always beat the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. that originality.
Yeah.
You know, originality is always better in the end. That's what people grasp onto eventually. You know what I mean? So, and there's a market, man, out there for every artist. There's a market, you know what I mean? Is if you get discouraged, then you know you ain't seeing the numbers on Spotify, or you ain't seeing the numbers on YouTube, and a lot of people get discouraged. So now all of a sudden you hear them starting to sound like so and so when they didn't sound like that, and they think that's going to be the fast track to. Well, guess what? No,
Mm-hmm.
they want to hear the original.
Yeah.
They want to hear you. They want to hear the original.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're going to sound like and watch it. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
somebody telling you that, you know, oh, rattlesnake tastes like chicken. Well, why not just give me a chicken?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Well, I gotta eat snake to decide to get a taste of chicken. Just give me a chicken. So yeah, I think that's the same thing, you know, with music, man. But if you really think about it, you start to see a lot of older artists now come back.
Mm-hmm.
Because even a lot of the older artists were afraid, in my opinion, to come out with stuff because of the mumble rap, because of the stuff that was going on right now. They didn't know if their music would be accepted. You know what I mean? But if you sold millions of records back then, you still got millions of fans.
Mm-hmm. Just
You know
waiting.
what I mean? Just waiting for you to put something out. You know what I mean? So put it out. You know what I mean? Don't try to come out sounding like you know, the new hot stuff right now because you're gonna
No.
lose your fans. You're gonna
And
lose your
that
fans.
and that's another thing. You talk about numbers, YouTube, Spotify views, all those things can be manipulated.
Yes,
So like
exactly.
they quickly talking about, yeah, this, you know, this video got certain amount of views. All that could be manipulated.
Yes,
And they're
exactly.
using that to discourage other people. And
Yes,
I think that's a big factor in why, like you said, people are in fear and holding back.
yes, yes. And yeah, exactly. And you wonder how of all those streams, how many are organic?
And they're
All
not
those
getting paid.
right,
They're not even
right.
getting paid.
No, you know, so they got somebody back there buying
Hmm.
those views, buying those streams to get the numbers up, to get the perception up. You know what I mean? That's how you get tours and that's how you get all this other stuff. That's how you get endorsements.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So nowadays it's all about the brand and all of that stuff. So a lot of that stuff, what you see is window shopping. All these numbers is window shopping. You know, so I've been one since this, you know, that stuff started. I've told people since day one, I'll never get wrapped up in those numbers. How I know
Hmm.
that stuff is real? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You know, because you're getting wrapped up in those numbers and you don't do the numbers that you think you should be doing. Now you're gonna get discouraged. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Now you're gonna start just reaching for music to that you think is going to get you the numbers,
Hmm.
and not being genuine to yourself and to your own foundation. You know what I mean? So I think that's what a lot of artists is doing, man. They're trying to sound like the next guy that's hot right now. You know, and forgetting what got them millions of fans to begin with. You know, so and I agree. You know, you got to evolve. Each and every
Yeah.
one of us got to evolve, but you can evolve and still be true to your substance, to your realness.
Hmm.
And you know what I mean? You can still evolve, you know what I mean? So without changing your style too much and all that other stuff. So, you
No, I feel
know,
that.
yeah.
Last question before we go.
All right.
Right? In a world with podcasting, when everyone is coming out with their form of platform, right? Doing their
Mm-hmm.
own thing. Like, have you ever thought about doing something like that? Like a person with your experience and knowing what the narrative is within the industry. Like, have you ever talked about starting a podcast, a show, or something? You know, because you have the voice, you have the experience to talk about these things. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll take some time to, you know, spark up, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually it'll grow because while everyone is, and I know this for a fact because I do this, right? Everybody is wants that clickbait, wants
Right.
that topic, what's trending. Essentially, what you're talking about is your sole focus, educating, helping, in a sense of unmasking what's going on in the industry, how you can develop as an artist, a company, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, have you ever thought about doing something like that?
I have. I definitely have. Me and a partner of mine have thought about doing it and going to do it. We're just trying to get the right stuff, so to speak. I think the content will be there, you know what I mean? But we definitely in the works on doing it, you know what I mean? And just trying to figure out how to do it. 'Cause I'm trying to research, you know, podcasts and see how, you know, they're doing it and, you know, what goes behind it, you know what I mean? So, because whatever I do, I want to be great at it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it takes time to build it and all that stuff, and I'm good with that. But if I'm gonna jump into it, I want to be great at it. You know what I mean?
No,
Or
I
at
feel
least,
that.
or at least develop to be great at it. So, you know, so yeah, but it's definitely in the works.
Because I'm thinking, like, you have, like you said, you have all these artists that are coming back. Like, it's different talking to somebody like you who's real, who's been through this, than somebody who's on a live stream or on a podcast. Who, like, imagine you trying to talk to Forney Marco or something like that. Like, really trying to get your stuff out there, and each show or live stream, it's a gimmick of something. They're not taking you're not developing. First of all, you're not promoting your project. You're not talking about something valuable. You're just coming on the show to do this niche that this show is required. So it's not even potential putting yourself out there. But with somebody like you that knows what it is, you'll be a massive help to your set, but also to theirs. So, I mean, it's, you know, like you said, visionizes your true potential.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely something I've really thought. You know, in fact, I do have a podcast called Life Lessons.
Talk about it.
Yeah, and I get messages about that all the time because I talk about real life stuff. It ain't, you know, you can't see me, but you know, you can go down and record it. It's called Life Lessons Podcast on all the podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. Just type that in there by Shug Jackson and it'll pop up, man. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from that. Cause like I said, I talk about real topics. I talk about, you know, real stuff, like, you know, people going through it with, you know, whether it be the mother using the kids as a tool to control the father, and or opposite way around, or, you know, just real life stuff, man, and motivational stuff. So that's been on there for a while, but I definitely want to get on the platform like you doing and do that stuff. So
no, hey, I encourage it. If you need any help, I'm email a message away, you know.
Oh, definitely. I appreciate you.
So you got the support.
Appreciate
but before
you.
we go, tell the people they can find your music, anything you have going on, let the people know.
Okay, first of all, got a movie out called Renegades with Danny Trejo and Lee Majors. That's on Netflix.
Damn, I forgot to ask you that about that.
That's all. It's all good. It's all good. So that's out. Got another one coming out this summer called Intercept with Michael Parra. That's just an action-packed movie. Gonna be a great movie. That come out this summer. You can find the music on all the platforms, anywhere. Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. You can look me up on all the platforms. At Shug Music on Instagram, TikTok at Shug Music, on Facebook at Shug Music. So everything is Shug Music, man. So I'm everywhere. So.
Boom. There you have it. Go make sure you go check out his new music. Go check out his movies. Go follow him. Go support him. Go hit him up. You know, he's there to talk to you. He's there to interact. But like we say, always make sure to support, you know, our independent artists. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram at Mr.Retain. Go like and subscribe our YouTube channel, DIOTALK TV. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.